आरईसी रूरल इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन कॉरपोरेशन लिमिटेड ने 26 जुलाई 2023 को दिल्ली के 5 स्टार होटल द ओबराई में एक मीडिया इंटरेक्शन आयोजित की और मीडिया को अवगत कराया कि वित्त वर्ष 2024 की पहली तिमाही के लिए अपने वित्तीय नतीजे घोषित किए। आरईसी ने 2,961 करोड़ पर अपना अब तक का सबसे अधिक पहली तिमाही का मुनाफा दर्ज किया। अस्सलामु अलैकुम, मैं ज़मीर अहमद अंसारी और आप देख रहे हैं जेड न्यूज़ फॉर यू। अर्ज यह है कि आपने अपने चैनल जेड न्यूज़ फॉर यू को अभी तक सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो सब्सक्राइब करें और साथ में दिए हुए बेल आइकन को भी दबाएं, जिससे हमारी आने वाली सभी वीडियोस के नोटिफिकेशन सबसे पहले आपको मिल सकें। नई दिल्ली 26 जुलाई 2023। आरईसी लिमिटेड के निदेशक मंडल ने आज 30 जून 2023 को समाप्त तिमाही के लिए ऑन ऑडिट स्टैंड अलोन और समेकित वित्तीय परिणामों को मंजूरी दे दी। परिचालन और वित्तीय हाइलाइट्स Q1 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 24 वर्सेस Q1 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 23 स्टैंड अलोन। स्वीकृतियां 90,797 करोड़ वर्सेस 59,895 करोड़, 52% अधिक। नवीकरणीय क्षेत्र का योगदान 16%, संवितरीकरण 34,133 करोड़ वर्सेस 12,442 करोड़, 174% अधिक। ऋण परिसंपत्तियों पर ब्याज आए 10,465 करोड़ वर्सेस 9,262 करोड़, 13% अधिक। शुभ लाभ 2,961 करोड़ वर्सेस 2,447 करोड़, 21% अधिक। संपत्ति की गुणवत्ता में सुधार और प्रभावी लागत प्रबंधन के कारण आईईसी अपना तिमाही लाभ 2,961 करोड़ कर दर्ज करने में सक्षम है। परिणाम स्वरूप 30 जून 2023 को समाप्त तिमाही के लिए प्रत्येक शेयर वार्षिक आय 2.4496 प्रति शेयर है, जबकि 30 जून 2022 में ये 7.37117 प्रति शेयर थी। मुनाफे में वृद्धि के कारण 30 जून 2023 तक नेट वर्थ बढ़कर 2,60,886 करोड़ हो गई है, जो सालाना आधार पर 16% की वृद्धि है। Q1 फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2023 के दौरान कंपनी ने अपने ग्लोबल मीडियम टर्म नोट प्रोग्राम के तहत 750 मिलियन अमेरिकी डॉलर 5 वर्षीय 144 REGS ग्रीन बॉन्ड जुटाए हैं। ये बॉन्ड विशेष रूप से GIFT सिटी गुजरात में IFSC इंटरनेशनल स्टॉक एक्सचेंज इंडिया INX और NSE IFSC पर सूचीबद्ध हैं। ऋण पुस्तिका में अपने विकास पथ को बनाए रखा और 17% बढ़कर 4.54 लाख हो गया है। 30 जून 2022 तक 3.88 लाख करोड़ के मुकाबले करोड़ संपत्ति की गुणवत्ता में सुधार का संकेत। 70.46% के प्रावधान कवरेज अनुपात के साथ शुद्ध क्रेडिट क्षीण संपत्तियां घटकर 0.97% हो गई हैं। 30 जून 2023 तक NPS परिसंपत्तियों पर भविष्य के विकास को समर्थन देने के पर्याप्त अवसर का संकेत देते हुए कंपनी का पूंजी पर्याप्त अनुपात CRAR 30 जून 2023 तक 27.60% है। अपने शेयर धारकों को पुरस्कृत करने की परंपरा को जारी रखते हुए कंपनी के निदेशक मंडल ने 73 प्रति इक्विटी शेयर प्रत्येक 10 अंकित मूल्य पर के पहले अंतरिम लाभांश की घोषणा की और 14 अगस्त 2023 को अंतरिम लाभांश के भुगतान के लिए रिकॉर्ड तिथि के रूप में तय किया।
मेन एजेंडा था कि हमारा जो Q1 का जो फैबुलस रिजल्ट आया था हम मीडिया से शेयर करना चाहते थे। हमारे इन्वेस्टर्स को बताना चाहते थे कि हमारा फर्स्ट क्वार्टर का रिजल्ट फैबुलस रहा। हाईएस्ट एवर सैंक्शन किया हमने लगभग 90,797 करोड़ का सैंक्शन किया है। हमारा डिस्बर्समेंट भी वन ऑफ द हाईएस्ट रहा है, लगभग 34,133 करोड़ किया, जो कि पिछले साल एक 12,000 करोड़ था। हमारा प्रॉफिट लगभग 2,997 करोड़ हो गया है, जिसमें कि लगभग 17% का ग्रोथ हुआ है। ये सारे इंडिकेट करते हैं कि ये करंट फाइनेंशियल इज गोइंग टू बी ह्यूज सक्सेस फॉर आरईसी।
For the very important reform distribution sector scheme and the LPS and financial disruptive cost of operation, there also we are the supporting arm of Government of India. So this is our shareholder patterns. You can see that Foreign portfolio investors continues to hold more than 20% in our shares. Our EPS for this quarter is 11.24, annualized is 44.96, book value per share is 231.22, and today we declared the first interim dividend of 3 rupees per share. Very high dividend paying company. Last year we paid 126% of our equity share capital. The top shareholders, you can see, many of these are Power Finance Corporation, of course, our holding company, and the other many of them are foreign portfolio investors. So for quarter one sanctions this year, quarter one we sanctioned 90,797,000 crore, highest ever quarterly sanction. Disbursements 34,133 crores, which is up by more than 170% of Q1 of the corresponding previous year. Outstanding loans have now gone up to 4,54,393 crores. We've crossed the 4,54,000 mark, and it's growing every day. And these are our state-wise bifurcation. Our private sector is only constitute 10% of our total loan assets, largely to the state. But now with renewal becoming the focus of the company, you will see more and more increase in the private sector borrowers portfolio. Major borrowers, top 10 major borrowers constitute about 40% of it. 10 JETCO with highest with 9.63%, followed by UPPCL, MSCDCL, etc. So continuing decline in our NPAs and indicating improved asset quality. Our net NPA is now less than 1%, and our gross NPA stands at 3.28%. Provision coverage ratio of 70.46%. In all the resolutions that are happening, we are having actually write-backs. The provision is higher than the sacrifices that we are having to make. And as our CMD has said, no new NPA during the last 6 quarters. So these are the credit impaired asset, as you see, that we have provided for out of 14,892 crores. 10,493 crores have already been provided for, and in terms of our net NPA, it's less than 1%. So these are some of the resolutions that are happening. 13,000 crores of projects are in the NCLT, 14 projects. We hope that all of these projects will be resolved in 23-24 and 24-25, so that we shall be NPA, nil NPA company by 31st March 25. So domestic rating, AAA domestically, and international issuer rating by Fitch and Moody's at par with the sovereign. So our total borrowing is 3,97,582 crores. We raised borrowing from multiple sources: corporate bonds, foreign currency borrowing. Foreign currency borrowing almost constitutes 24% of our total borrowings, which is indicates the faith that the foreign debt investors have in this company. Foreign currency 21%. Capital gain bonds, which is the cheapest source of fund, also constitute 10%, and corporate bonds at 40%. So these are some of the funds raised during the period. 49,194 during Q1, driven by the higher disbursement in this quarter. So these are the major highlights. Total income stands at almost 11,000 crore, 16% increase year on year. Net profit at 2,961 crore, 20% higher year on year. Loan book reached to 4.5 lakh crore, 17% increase. Asset quality improved with net credit asset less than 1%, 0.97%. Net worth stands at 60,886 crore, up 16%. And capital adequacy ratio at very healthy 27.6%. So we have a lot of scope for future growth. So these are this thing. And yeah, there are key ratios. Our yield 9.82%. Cost of funds is 7.23%. These are the figures that are moderated, largely because we are more concentrating on good quality assets, and therefore we have somewhat sacrificed the margins, but that is to maintain a very healthy asset quality. So interest spread is at 2.59 and net interest margin at 3.28%. Return on net worth is close to 20%. Interest coverage ratio 1.53 and debt equity ratio 6.42%. So thank you very much.
Now the house is open for question and answer. I'll request.
Hi sir, this is Rishi Kala from the Hindu Business Line. I have a question for Mr. Devangan. So you've informed, first congratulations on a resilient set of numbers, especially your net NPAs. And so you've said that you have a target of having a loan book of 10 lakh crores. As of Q1 FY23, your loan book is 4.54 lakh crores. You want to more than double it. How are you looking at fundraising? Have you, if you could just give us more details on how you're planning to raise funds for such an endeavor. As we are told that right now there's a slight problems in raising funds, especially from foreign institutions. So if you could share your views on that.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. As I had highlighted that the renewable energy portfolio, which stands around 7%, it was about 30,000 crore at the end of financial year 23, around 31st March. We want to increase it to tenfold, about 3 lakh crore. So most of the financing will come for the green projects. And there is no dearth of fund. There are so many pension fund, insurance fund, sovereign wealth fund. They're all willing to invest for the green projects. The volume is not an issue. We are getting sufficient volume for financing green projects. The only thing that we are focusing on is how to lower the cost of financing. We have to give the most competitive rate to our borrower. So that is the challenge. For that we are accessing different options. Recently we had raised $750 million of green bonds. It got a very good response. Initially we had planned to raise only $500 million, but keeping with the tremendous response from investor, we raised $750 million. Now we are targeting Japanese yen, external commercial borrowing. That is one of the cheapest source of funding. Since most of the financing is going to be in the projects related with the energy transition, so we will be able to raise the funds. There is absolutely no dearth of the fund for raising for the green projects. The diversification of our portfolio, which Mr. Ajay Chaudhary, our Director of Finance, had covered, still the lowest cost of financing that is accruing to us is from 54 EC capital gains bond, where people can invest for saving their capital gain tax. We are taking up the matter with Ministry of Finance to raise the ceiling of 50 lakh to 1 crore for investment in 54 EC capital gains tax bond. Other than that, now we have diversified into infrastructure and logistics. Although last year our sanction was to the tune of about 85,000 crore last financial year, the disbursement were not that much in infrastructure logistics. That was around 2,000 crore only. But current financial year, this disbursement will also increase in infrastructure logistics, and infrastructure logistics we are getting good margins. So we have started funding airports, metro projects, ports, highways, IT infrastructure, super specialist hospital, Ministry of Power, Government of India has allowed us that 1/3 of our loan portfolio could be from non-power infrastructure projects. 2/3 will still be related with the power sector only. And power sector mostly our focus is going to be on the green projects.
Sir, one supplementary question. Since you have earmarked 30% for RE projects, is there also you have a certain portion for coal-based projects? Since we will see coal-based capacities coming online and some are in planning stages.
Actually, our loan portfolio for coal-based generation is coming down actually. Earlier it used to be about 39%. It was more than 40%. But as we are speaking, our loan portfolio for coal-based generation projects has come down to about 30-31% only. There is substantial reduction of about 8 to 9%. As very few coal-based power plants are coming, we are committed that to fund even coal-based power plant. There is absolutely no problem because the country's base load is being provided by coal-based power plant. Coal is the strength of India. We don't have natural gas. Other countries, in the name of energy transition, they are focusing on gas-based projects. Gas is also fossil fuel. So we have to use our strength. Coal is our strength. And we are making all measures to reduce emission by coal-based power plant by using the latest technology, latest equipment to reduce the carbon emission from coal-based power plant, including FGDs. Please introduce yourself and then.
Good evening. This is Sanjay Agarwal. I represent World News 24/7. Sir, it's a good thing that you've got the status of Maharatna, and now you've got a subsidiary you're opening in Oman. I want to know that when you're planning for the NPAs, you're saying 0 in 2025, and your achievement of 2030 targets. So, what is the growth strategy you're going to adopt, and your exposure? When you were showing us the dividend, the share, so LIC is about just 1%. So why is the exposure of LIC so? It means it's really not, they should have more. So why is it not doing it in REC?
Let's take first this NPA.
Yes, for NPA, today we have roughly 19 projects which are currently NPA. These are all legacy assets. We have targeted close to 9 projects in the current financial year for resolution. Those 9 projects are principal outstanding is close to 7,300 or 7,400 crore. So out of 14,000, 7,000 crore, which is roughly 50%, is targeted to be resolved during the current year. Many of the assets are at advanced stage of resolution. Remaining 7,000 at CFDs are said that in the next financial year will resolve all of those 7,000 crore projects which are currently NPA. With that, we will come to almost net zero NPA. That's the path that we have actually made for making us net NPA zero company.
With regard to LIC, I'll request Director of Finance to respond.
LIC, earlier was holding around 3% in our equity. But subsequently, it's a play of the market. As our share prices rose, they decided to, book profit. That's a simple explanation that we can give. But you can see that, our, as I said, more than 20% of the equity is still being held by the foreign portfolio investors, which is, to show the confidence that they have in this company. So LIC holding 1.21%. Nothing so.
Market play only.
It's a market play of
Yeah. Please pass on the mic.
Anil, Brilliant Media. On the NPAs, you say that you have been making progresses. So the fresh ones, maybe we can go on and reduce the NPAs. But what I would like to know is the previous NPAs, how have they been reduced or controlled or what?
As our Director Technical, Mr. VK Singh has mentioned, we are in the process of resolving these old NPAs. Some of the cases are already there in NCLT. The resolution process is on. We hope that about 6 to 9 projects will get resolved either through NCLT or outside NCLT. To most of the projects which have become NPA, we are in the process of resolving it. And those who cannot be resolved, their liquidation process is on. So we hope that by the year 2025, we'll be able to resolve all these NPA assets.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on a good set of numbers. So, a couple of questions. First, related with the net translation or transaction amount, which seems to have contributed about 400 crores, alone to your profit. So, if you could just explain where that came from. And second, with regards to your, the 3 lakh crore that you mentioned, the loan book, outstanding loan book that you want for renewable energy. It seems like the 2,86,000 crore has already come. So would you maybe wanting to increase that target for yourselves?
First, you take the expenses, then.
Regarding the net translation loss, there was not much volatility as far as the US dollar was concerned vis-a-vis the INR. So virtually we gained there about 13 crore rupees, and there was a translation loss of about 63 crore rupees in respect of the earlier loans which we were having prior to 1/4/2018, whereby it was allowed to be amortized. So as such, the net translation was only 50 crore rupees in this particular quarter. So that was not much. And as far as the MTM valuation is concerned, so there we gained about 200 crore rupees. So virtually there was an increase of 200 minus 50, roughly 150 crore rupees.
Just to add that MTM is the derivative contracts which we value mark to market every quarter. So there we gained the value of our derivatives. If we collapse today, then we'll get more value.
As regards to your question about this signing of MOUs for about 2,86,000 crore, these are the new projects which we are targeting. This pipeline of projects are there. As you are aware that this 3 lakh crore, the amount that I have stated pertains to the likely outstanding loan from the renewable energy portfolio. Whatever amount we sanction, its disbursement takes time. If now we identified 2,86,000 crore projects during the Goa summit, it will gradually get converted in will sanction those projects after due appraisal, due diligence. Thereafter loan documentation will happen, and project gestation period is about 2 to 3 years. So disbursement will happen over the years. So in 1 year, if we sanction 3 lakh crore, it will not result into outstanding loan 3 lakh crore in one single year. For that, we need to sanction about 9 lakh, 10 lakh crore. Then outstanding loan from that sanction will be about 3 lakh crore.
What I was saying is that it seems to be covered for now through these pacts. So would you maybe want to look at more projects?
Yeah, naturally, we'll have to look for more projects. We have identified only projects of about 2,86,000 crore as of now. But going forward, some more projects will come, and we'll have to sanction about 9 to 10 lakh crore projects for having outstanding loan of 3 lakh crore from renewable energy. Yeah, Mr. Singh would like to add.
In addition to that, these are the projects which are currently in the hands of the developers. They have already won it, or they have the intention to develop these projects. This pipeline is for say next 2 to 3 to 4 years. In case of larger stations, say PSP or hydrogen, this is going to take 4 to 5 years. But for other major part of it, which is pure vanilla, solar, or wind, or a hybrid, or a RTC project, it will take 1 to 2 years to implement that. And then, as you know, that every year we have to award a capacity of 50 gigawatt to reach to that 500 gigawatt goal. So many more projects will come up. These developers will win, and they will come our way for sanction. And that is how we will sanction much more than 286. But the loan book, as at the end of 2030, that is what we are targeting as 3 lakh.
Hi, sir.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much. You are making a very nice strides in technology and other activities. My moot question is, we have been hearing that the 100% electrification sooner or later we will be doing. So the moot question arises, how much percentage of electrification across the country we have done? Is it 50%? Is it 70%? Is it 80%? So that, we have the glimpse of your projection, because you have switched to infrastructure, because you are maybe doing very well. But I would like to ask you, how much India is electrified? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for asking this question. In fact, Honorable Prime Minister, during his independence speech on 15th August 2015, had announced that will electrify 100% village in a period of 1,000 days. REC had become nodal agency on behalf of Ministry Power, Government of India, to implement village electrification program, which was called as Din Dayal Gram Jyoti Yojana. All the census villages which were inhabited have been electrified in the month of April 2018 in a record time of 987 days, 13 days short of 1,000 days promised by Honorable Prime Minister. So we had electrified about 18,374 villages. That was one part. Thereafter, after covering all the inhabited census villages, next target was to do 100% household electrification for the willing household. The catch was willing household. So whoever were willing household, with the help of distribution companies across the country, a massive mobilization exercise was taken up. The men, material and money were all mobilized, and we were able to provide household electrification to about 28.6 million households. That was achieved by the end of March 2019. So most of the willing households were covered, but there were certain villages and households which were not connected to the grid, because it was financially not that viable to take the electricity line to say about 40-50 households which were 20-30 kilometers away from the grid. For that, off-grid solution was provided. There were certain issues where off-grid solution were provided, but operation maintenance issues were there. Thereafter, some additional households have also come up. There are some hamlet, Majra, Tola, some households, new households have come. For that, under ongoing this revamped distribution sector scheme, a provision has been made to cover this additional household which are being set up. Those new additional households which are coming, for electrification of those households also, a provision has been made under RDSS. So more than 99% households have already been covered. Those Majra, Tola, some households are left out. For that also, the project has been sanctioned. Most of the states have given their proposal, and under revamped distribution sector scheme, this monitoring committee headed by Secretary Power has already sanctioned those households also.
Hi sir, two questions. One is regarding your loan portfolio. You mentioned about the transition that your loan book will take. You will go towards greener projects, and also which eventually means much more private sector players. But your top 10 borrowers continue to be state utilities, which we all knew are into this lost vortex. So going forward, would you reduce your exposures to such state entities? What is the plan to balance it, given that you're looking to diversify? My second question is on the MOUs, 2.85 lakh crore. What was the selection criteria for the projects and the companies which you have associated yourself with?
Let me first answer your query about state versus private sector. As of now, our 90% of lending is to the state utilities. That's true. Only 10% lending is to the private sector. But going forward, since we are targeting the projects which are coming under energy transition, and most of these green projects are coming under private sector. That's why our loan portfolio to private sector is going to increase substantially. Right now it is about 10%. It will grow to minimum 30% by the year 2030, and it can go beyond that also. With regard to the projects which have been identified, for which we have signed MOU about 2,86,000 crore. For that, we had carried out detailed exercise. We had held one meeting with the various developers. We sat with them, identified the projects which are likely to come through within the next 3 to 4 years. Solar, wind, hybrid solar wind, storage projects, e-mobility projects, manufacturing projects, green ammonia, green hydrogen projects. The developers themselves had identified and they had expressed their interest that they would like to get financing from REC. Based on that, we had done detailed exercise. We have identified the project-wise details are with us. We'll work on those private developers to prepare detailed DPR and carry out due diligence to sanction those projects.
Just one quick supplementary question on the power distribution sector. So apart from your association through the Government of India schemes, would we see a reduction in your exposure to the power distribution sector in terms of working capital lending, etc.?
Right now, Government of India has taken a very ambitious scheme and reform scheme called Revamped Distribution Sector Scheme, in which total investment of 3 lakh crore is envisaged. Out of 3 lakh crore, Government of India grant is going to be only about 97,000 crore. The remaining 2 lakh or more than 2 lakh crore, 2 lakh 3,000 crore will come from the state resources or through the borrowing. So most of the borrowings will come from REC and PFC only, because we are the major lenders to DISCOMs. So either till 2026-27, I don't think there will be any reduction in the distribution sector portfolio. Our distribution sector lending is about 32%. So that will remain or may increase also. But conventional generation portfolio will come down. The space would be taken by the renewable energy projects and the infrastructure and logistics projects.
Just to add on your question, these state utilities are growing in the strength. After this reform distribution sector scheme, major reforms have taken place. Today, all state governments are paying the subsidies on time. The government department dues, which were also kept in areas earlier, now they are coming on time. The generation and transmission company dues have halved in the last 1 year. From 1,40,000, now they have come down by almost 50% today. Tariff revisions are happening. Almost 95% of states have tariff revision. So there is a major reform which is underway, and you will see these state utilities. By the way, we never had any default from any state utilities. All our NPAs have come from the private sector. So don't discount these state utilities. They have the backing of the state government. But now with the renewed focus on the reforms, they are really growing in the strength, and so we should be very comfortable to work with them. I mean, we are finding it sometimes difficult to do business with them.
Under revamped distribution sector scheme, major component is going to be prepaid smart metering. 50% amount is going for the prepaid smart metering, and this prepaid smart meter is going to be the big game changer in distribution sector. For financing the smart meter projects, we also prepared a different product. I'd like to, our director technical may give brief about smart metering projects.
So under RDSS, as you all are aware, that there's a separate component of roughly having a 50% outlay of total RDSS outlay of roughly 3 lakh crore. And this particular space is being, filled by the private sector player, not the distribution entity or any other entity, but the private sector player like Apava. There are many other, MISPs, IntelliSmart, GMR. We are targeting this as a separate, separate business vertical, and we are currently looking at multiple AMISP project financing opportunities currently, which have recently been awarded in UP, Assam, and Bihar. So this definitely is an area of interest for us. This, of course, is linked with state discoms because they are going to be the authority for making payment to these AMISP. But this definitely is an area of interest for us as of now.
So one more question from my side. You mentioned about the 54 EC bonds. So you said you would be taking that up with the finance ministry to raise the ceiling. Have you been able to quantify the kind of gains you will have in case the ministry accepts your proposal?
Yeah, actually last year our collection for 54 EC bond was more than 12,000 crore. We see that after COVID, there is a revival of economic activities and real estate transactions have gone up. So we foresee that in the next year, lot of real estate transactions are going to take place and people will be making a lot of profit through the real estate transaction. To avoid paying capital gains tax, they would like to invest on this 54 EC bonds. So we have already taken up with the Ministry of Power. Ministry of Power has already recommended to Ministry of Finance to consider increasing the ceiling of 50 lakh to 1 crore for investment in 54 EC bond by a single individual.
Hello sir, this is Rituraj from Mint. So, you said in the next 2 years you plan to take your debt to net zero, right? Net zero NPA. So would it also entail going for NCLT for more projects, and you, along with your consortium, you could pick up, you could be among the buyers there, participate for taking up stake?
No, those state assets are already in NCLT. They are, when a committee was set up under the chairmanship of the then cabinet secretary, they had identified 34 stage projects for resolution. Out of 34 stage this projects, 17 or 18 are already resolved. Their issues have been resolved, and about 10 projects are already under NCLT, and the remaining are undergoing through liquidation process. So no new, as I have mentioned, that no new NPA has been created in the last 6 quarters. So no new NPA is going to be added. Those assets which had become NPA previously, they are already in the process of resolution, either through NCLT or through liquidation process. So that we are intending that by the year 2025, this all will get resolved. This way, either through NCLT or through liquidation process. हिंदी माध्यम के कोई भी पत्रकार बंधु हो तो हिंदी में भी प्रश्न पूछ लीजिए। जी ओके, हिंदी ट्रांसलेशन। तो आपको कोई प्रश्न हो तो पूछ लें, आपके मन में कोई जिज्ञासा हो तो। ये तो केवल अंक गणित है जिसमें सारे फिगर अंग्रेजी में लिखे रहते हैं। तो क्वार्टर 1 का हमारा फाइनेंशियल रिजल्ट जो है आंकड़ों में है, जो आपके सामने है सारे आंकड़े। प्लीज पास ऑन द माइक।
मीडिया, ये जो प्रगति और विकास हुआ है ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, जो पिछले 2-3 सालों में, तो इसका कोई विशेष कारण अगर आप बताना चाहिए।
इसका विशेष कारण जो बताना चाहूंगा कि मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पावर ने लीडरशिप रोल लिया है और इस साल ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर फॉर पावर एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी had taken up lot of reform measures. The kind of reforms which have been carried out in last 2-3 years are tremendous. Never ever those reform measures were taken. The major breakthrough was introduction of late payment surcharge scheme. With the introduction of late payment surcharge, all the generators, transcos are assured of their payment. The legacy dues issues have already been addressed. There has been EMI has been fixed for clearing the dues of the gencos and transmission companies, and moreover, the current dues are getting paid. We had brought out a special product called a revolving bill payment facility. So, using this special product, the current bills have also been cleared. Other than that, this general network access has been introduced in the field of transmission. Green open access rules have been notified. Amendment into Energy Conservation Act has been carried out, wherein Government of India can mandate consumption of renewable energy sources, be it solar energy, solar or wind, or green hydrogen, green ammonia. Other than this reform measures, India had assumed the presidency of G20 current year. The last 2-3 years have been focused on our efforts for energy transition. All enabling provisions were made by Ministry of Power and Ministry of New and Renewable Energy to promote green projects. So these were the reasons for such a rapid growth in the last 2 to 3 years.
Mr. Devangan Rishi this side. Sir, I have one question. Since last year you become a Maharatna, you've recently invested in a overseas project. Going ahead and looking at your target for 2030, what quantum will come from overseas projects? Because Indian government, with respect to green hydrogen, has very ambitious plans of supplying to global locations. So what are your plans about, going overseas? Are you contemplating, are you looking at projects? Because there are several projects, for instance, lithium processing or processing of cobalt, nickel, sort of critical minerals, then green hydrogen, green ammonia conversion, transferring, storage. So what are your plans about overseas projects?
Thank you for asking this question actually. Other than green hydrogen, green ammonia, because it's very difficult to store hydrogen. Storage and transportation is a big issue. So the developers would like to convert green hydrogen into green ammonia. So most of the demand of green ammonia is overseas. So we would like to support green hydrogen, green ammonia plants wherever they are nearer to the ultimate consumers. That is one potential area where we are likely to focus on overseas project. Other than that, Honorable Prime Minister had given his vision for one sun, one world, one grid. I hope that lot of work is going to happen in the coming future, and this will give lot of opportunity for financing overseas projects also. Regional, country transmission lines would be set up. The renewable energy projects would be set up. The evacuation would be a big challenge. So, lot of overseas opportunities are there.
And in addition to what CMD sir has just told, the assets or the projects that we are going to target are the projects which have revenue in foreign currency, like hydrogen, for example. Now we are seeing that in some of the cases, even renewable energy projects have got revenue in foreign currency, in dollars. So all of this will be, we have started financing. We financed the Suman project. We financed another Sterlites, one mega project of roughly 3,000 crore, just revenue in dollar. These are all seed assets for our subsidy company in Gift City. So anything which has foreign currency revenue will be the target under that subsidy company, because there will be an advantage of natural hedge, and therefore all of that will come under that particular
सर दिस इज फ्रॉम न्यूज आईपी। आपने ग्रीन पावर के बारे में गोवा में बहुत कुछ किया, बहुत सारे एमओयू साइन किए, लेकिन सरकार का एक सपना था 24/7 पावर टू ऑल। आरईसी 24/7 पावर टू ऑल में कहाँ तक पहुंची है और कब तक अचीव हो?
24/7 पावर के संदर्भ में बताना चाहूँगा कि अर्बन क्षेत्रों में, शहरी क्षेत्रों में पावर सप्लाई लगभग 23.5 साढ़े 23 घंटे की बिजली आजकल उपलब्ध हो रही है, यदि हम पूरे देश भर का आंकड़ों को ब्यौरा लें। ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में मानता हूँ, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में अभी भी 22 घंटे का औसत है, जो कि हमें बढ़ाना है। इसी के लिए जो 24/7 रिलायबल अफोर्डेबल पावर सप्लाई हम उपभोक्ताओं को उपलब्ध करा पाए, इसी के लिए रिवैम्प डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेक्टर रिफॉर्म स्कीम लॉन्च की गई थी और मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टेट्स में इसका प्रोजेक्ट सैंक्शन हो गया है, एक्सेप्ट अभी केवल तेलंगाना और कर्नाटका 2 स्टेट रह गए हैं, वो भी धीरे धीरे वहां भी सैंक्शन हो जाएगा। अदर देन तेलंगाना एंड कर्नाटका सभी राज्यों में प्रोजेक्ट सैंक्शन हो गए हैं। जो 3 लाख करोड़ का जो इन्वेस्टमेंट होने वाला है रिवैम्प डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेक्टर स्कीम में, उसमें से लगभग 2,70,000 के प्रोजेक्ट तो ऑलरेडी सैंक्शन हो चुके हैं और उसमें मेजर कंपोनेंट है स्मार्ट मीटर, प्रीपेड स्मार्ट मीटरिंग का। तो ये सारे इनिशिएटिव जो हैं ये बाय द एंड ऑफ मार्च 2026 24/7 रिलायबल अफोर्डेबल सप्लाई ऑफ पावर टू कंज्यूमर्स विल बी एंश्योर्ड।
So, मेरा क्वेश्चन अबाउट दी जो आपके बॉन्ड्स हैं, 12,000 crores is a big amount. So I wanted to understand what is the time frame जो people are investing in there and what's the percentage are you giving, and it's for senior citizens what is the incentive? And the second question जो आपने G20 का बोला about the presidency, you were in Goa and those MOUs, so which are the major MOUs you have signed? So if you can share more information.
I'll request our Director of Finance to give the details about 54 EC bond. 54 EC bond का जो टेन्योर होता है, लोग अपना कैपिटल गेन्स टैक्स बचाने के लिए उसमें इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। 5 साल के लिए लॉक इन हो जाता है पैसा, परंतु उन्हें एनुअल 5 से 5.5% तक का रिटर्न मिलता है। अभी इस साल जो लोग इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं उन्हें 5.25% का रिटर्न मिलेगा। आई रिक्वेस्ट डायरेक्टर फाइनेंस टू गिव मोर डिटेल अबाउट
these capital gain bonds actually ये जो अगर कोई आदमी लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल एसेट्स को सेल करेगा तो उसमें जो प्रॉफिट है उसको बचा सकता है बाय इन्वेस्टिंग इन दीज बॉन्ड्स। सो 20% का स्ट्रेट अवे उसको फायदा हो जाता है। एडिशनली ही गेट ए कूपन ऑफ 5.25% फ्रॉम आरईसी। दिस इज लॉक्ड इन फॉर 5 years as our CMD said, and after 5 years he gets this 5.25% is of course taxable. तो नेट उसको काफी इससे गेन होता है। तो वी आर देयर आर 4 companies which can take out these bonds. We actually corner almost 75% of the market today, currently at 12,000 crores. तो ये हमें the cheapest source of fund 5.25% तो almost savings bank का रेट है, the cheapest source of funds for us.
आज रिगार्ड जो आपने कहा कि 2,86,000 करोड़ का जो एमओयू किया है उसका ब्रेकअप है, जो एमओयू के बता रहा हूँ मैं कंपनी का नाम नहीं बता रहा हूँ। 25 कंपनियों से हमारा एमओयू हुआ था, परंतु मोटे मोटे तौर पे जिस कंपनी 25 कंपनियों से हमारा जो एमओयू हुआ है उसमें सोलर प्रोजेक्ट लगभग 50,000 करोड़ के हैं जो ऑलरेडी सैंक्शन है। सेकी के द्वारा बिड किए गए हैं, एनटीपीसी के द्वारा बिड किए हैं, एनएचपीसी के द्वारा बिड किए हैं, कुछ स्टेट सेक्टर में बिडिंग किए हैं। उसमें जो डेवलपर जीत गए हैं, जो 200 वन द बिड, उनको हम लोग लगभग 50,000 करोड़ की फाइनेंसिंग करेंगे फॉर सेटिंग अप सोलर बेस्ड पावर प्लांट। हाइब्रिड सॉल्यूशन के लिए भी है, सोलर विंड का हाइब्रिड सॉल्यूशन का लगभग 50,000 करोड़ का उसका भी प्रोजेक्ट आइडेंटिफाई हो गया है। केवल विंड के प्रोजेक्ट के लगभग 5,000 करोड़ के प्रस्ताव हैं। इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी, इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस का फाइनेंसिंग का लगभग 25,000 करोड़ का 4-5 कंपनियां हैं जितने भी हैं, सभी से हमारे प्रस्ताव आ गए हैं। उसमें हमने आइडेंटिफाई कि लगभग इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी के हम लोग 25,000 करोड़ करेंगे। नॉट ओनली इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस, उनके साथ साथ एसोसिएटेड जो चार्जिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है उसके लिए भी हम लोग फाइनेंसिंग देंगे। ग्रीन हाइड्रोजन, ग्रीन अमोनिया के लगभग 45,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट चिन्हित कर दिए गए, उसको भी हम फाइनेंसिंग करेंगे। पंप स्टोरेज प्रोजेक्ट जो हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट है उसके लिए हमने 45,000 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट चिन्हांकित किए हैं। और फिर इक्विपमेंट और जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उनके लिए लगभग 1,700 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट हमने चिन्हांकित किया।
सर एक सवाल मेरा है, मैं आकाश श्रीवास्तव हूँ थर्ड आइवर न्यूज से। सर मेरा सवाल ग्रामीण क्षेत्र को लेकर है। सर जो इलेक्ट्रिफिकेशन का जो सर पुराना ढांचा है, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है काफी खराब है। आए दिन उसके वायर या ट्रांसफार्मर में प्रॉब्लम आती है, या जो केवीज जो ज्यादा वोल्टेज की जहां पे जरूरत है वहां भी बड़ी समस्याएं हैं। इन सब को लेकर आपकी आरईसी सर किस तरह के काम कर रही है या किस तरह के समझौते पे काम कर रही है? थैंक यू सर।
बहुत महत्वपूर्ण प्रश्न पूछा है। डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेक्टर के सुदृढ़ीकरण के लिए रिवैम्प डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेक्टर स्कीम लॉन्च की गई है, जिसका मैंने कहा था लगभग 3 लाख करोड़ का टोटल इन्वेस्टमेंट इन्वेस्टाइज है इसके लिए। इस पे 97,000 करोड़ भारत सरकार का ग्रांट रहेगा और 2,03,000 करोड़ स्टेट से आएगा या फिर लोन के माध्यम से आएगा। तो रिवैम्प डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेक्टर स्कीम के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन के लिए आरईसी को नोडल एजेंसी बनाया गया 19 राज्यों के लिए, और बाकी राज्यों के लिए पावर फाइनेंस कॉर्पोरेशन उसकी नोडल एजेंसी है। तो आरईसी और पीएफसी मिलके सभी डिस्कॉम्स के हैंड होल्डिंग करते हैं, उनका डीपीआर बनाने में सहयोग करते हैं, उनका स्टैंडर्ड बिडिंग डॉक्यूमेंट बनाया है, जो बिड्स इन्वाइट करते हैं उसके लिए सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। उसके बाद अवार्ड होने के बाद में प्रोजेक्ट अवार्ड होने में उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की भी मॉनिटरिंग कर रहे हैं। बाय दैट वी होप दैट बाय द एंड ऑफ मार्च 2026 पूरा सुदृढ़ीकरण संपूर्ण हो जाएगा। जी सर, 19 राज्य मुख्य राज्य हैं उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार, राजस्थान, छत्तीसगढ़, वेस्ट बंगाल, तमिलनाडु, फिर सभी नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट, 8 नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न स्टेट्स हैं, जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, लद्दाख।
अनिल, ब्रिलियंट
जी
सर। एनर्जी सेक्टर बीइंग अ वेरी क्रिटिकल एरिया इन द इकोनॉमी, तो टू माय माइंड आइस टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर। सो वी आर इंटरनल कंबशन इंजन, so though the government is concentrating and the world is concentrating on the EVs, but the ICE is not going anywhere if you look at the sector. So how do you look at it? Like there would be a lot of interruptions and interventions for the good. So how as an energy player, how do you look at it?
नहीं, आपका प्रश्न थोड़ा स्पष्ट नहीं है।
प्रश्न यह है कि इंटरनल कंबशन इंजन की जो टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो ट्रांसपोर्ट सेक्टर है, वो इट प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल आवर इकोनॉमी में, क्योंकि इंपोर्ट्स हमारी क्रूड पे जो फ्यूल बेस्ड हैं वो उस पर चल रही है। तो दैट टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट गोइंग एनीवेयर, आई वुड लाइक टू अंडरस्टैंड। इट इज गोइंग टू स्टे देयर। सो इवन इफ ईवी इज देयर, so EV is occupying a very little part of it. और EV में स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन को होने में और हाइड्रोजन सेल्स को आने में या हाइड्रोजन को आने में, ब्लू, ग्रीन, ग्रे, इन सब चीज़ों को आने में टाइम लगेगा और उसको स्टेबलाइज करने में भी काफ़ी टाइम लगेगा, बिकॉज द स्केल ऑफ इकोनॉमी ऑन कमर्शियल बेसिस इज नॉट वेरी विजिबल एंड गुड एट द मोमेंट. सो आर यू लुकिंग एट इट इन एनी विच वे?
जी, मैं बताना चाहूँगा इसमें जो कार्बन एमिशन होता है, जो भारत में जो कार्बन एमिशन हो रहा है उसका लगभग 30% इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन रिलेटेड एक्टिविटीज से आता है, बाकी फिर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन है, बिल्डिंग है और अदर एक्टिविटीज के हैं. इस कार्बन एमिशन को रोकने के लिए मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फॉरेस्ट एनवायरनमेंट एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज नोडल मंत्रालय है, उनके तत्वाधान में और नीति आयोग के तत्वाधान में हम सभी रिलेटेड मिनिस्ट्री अपना अपना योगदान दे रही हैं. तो मिनिस्ट्री पावर, मिनिस्ट्री रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी जो 30% कार्बन एमिशन है जो कि इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन से आता है, उस क्षेत्र में काम कर रही हैं। उसमें काफी उल्लेखनीय प्रगति भी है। हमने पेरिस में 2015 में कमिट किया था कि हम लोग अपना एमिशन इंटेंसिटी 30 से 33% ऑफ जीडीपी करेंगे बाय द ईयर 2030 एज कम्पेयर टू 2005 लेवल। बट हम ये 33% से ज्यादा हमने एमिशन इंटेंसिटी रिड्यूस कर दी 2021 में अचीव कर लिया था टारगेट। अब हमने अपना एम्बिशन बढ़ा दिया। अब हम अपनी एमिशन इंटेंसिटी ऑफ जीडीपी को 45% तक रिड्यूस करने का टारगेट लिया है बाय द ईयर 2030 एज कम्पेयर टू 2005 लेवल।
सर अभी कुछ देर पहले आपने बताया कि आंकड़ों के बारे में कि कुछ स्टेटों में जो है ना 20 से 22 घंटे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है। ये आंकड़े आपके हैं या स्टेट के हैं? क्योंकि आज भी मैं जहां रहता हूं वहां से 300 किलोमीटर दूर पे 12 घंटे 11 घंटे से ज्यादा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है, और आपके आंकड़े बताते हैं 20 से 22 घंटे। तो इतना डिफरेंस क्यों है सर? ये स्टेट है कि आंकड़े हैं या आपके आंकड़े हैं?
जी मैं बताना चाहूँगा, जो आंकड़े हैं हमारे, एक नेशनल पावर पोर्टल है जिसका कि मॉनिटरिंग सेंट्रल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी अथॉरिटी जो करती है, वो टेक्निकल आर्म है मिनिस्ट्री पावर की। उनके पास सभी राज्यों के फीडर के डेटा आते हैं, फीडर लेवल का डेटा है। फीडर के डेटा के आधार पे ये 22, साढ़े 23 घंटे का आंकड़ा है। फीडर के बाद डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ट्रांसफार्मर, फिर कंज्यूमर लेवल तक का डेटा वो तो डिस्कॉम के पास रहता है, और कई डिस्कॉम्स इंटेंशनली लोड शेडिंग करते हैं। उसकी भी रोकथाम करने के लिए अभी हमने कंज्यूमर प्रोटेक्शन रूल लाया है। यदि कोई डिस्कॉम जानबूझ के लोड शेडिंग करता है, जानबूझ के उपभोक्ताओं को बिजली उपलब्ध नहीं कराते हैं, क्योंकि हमने एकदम सही वाजिब बात है, कई क्षेत्रों में 10 से 11 घंटे की बिजली की समस्या का कंप्लेंट आ रहा है, वैलिड पॉइंट। तो आपको you'll appreciate that electricity is a concurrent list of the constitution in which both central and state government have to play a role. Central government makes the overall policy related initiative, but ultimately at the field level the action is taken by the state government through their distribution companies. So it is fact that there are certain isolated cases where some consumers are not getting, but if we do averaging, so the figure that I have quoted is based on the data available on National Power Portal, which is coming from the feeder level information.
सर जो आपका
छोटा सा एक सवाल हो रहा है,
सुन लीजिए, सिंह साहब को थोड़ा इलैबोरेट करेंगे, फिर आप अपने क्वेश्चन।
सर जो आपका इशू है जहाँ पे कम बिजली की सप्लाई हो रही है उपभोक्ताओं को, तो राइट्स ऑफ कंज्यूमर एक्ट नोटिफाई किया है। अभी आरईसी ने सारे स्टेट में इसका एडवर्टाइजमेंट किया था, सो दैट राइट्स ऑफ कंज्यूमर एक्ट सभी लोगों के संज्ञान में आए। और अच्छा हुआ आपने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा सर, आपके राइट्स हैं कि आप अपने कंसर्न डिस्कॉम से पूछ सकते हैं कि वो आपको क्यों बिजली सप्लाई नहीं कर रहे, और अगर आपके राज्य में स्टेट रेगुलेटर ने कुछ निर्धारण किया हुआ है कि इतनी बिजली सप्लाई होनी है, तो आप एक एक्चुअली क्लेम भी डाल सकते हैं डिस्कॉम के ऊपर बिजली ना सप्लाई करने के लिए। लेकिन आप उनके एक नंबर जो उनके वेबसाइट पे दिया होगा इस पर्टिकुलर रीजन के लिए, आप वहां जाके इसको कंप्लेन कर सकते हैं, और आपको करना भी चाहिए।
नहीं सर, वो आपकी बात बहुत दुरुस्त है और अच्छी बात है, इसको एडवर्टाइजिंग में होना चाहिए। लेकिन कुछ लोगों में उनको जागरूकता नहीं है कि हम क्या करें क्या नहीं करें। लेकिन हम ये नहीं समझ पाते हैं कि हम आंकड़ों में घूमते रहते हैं और गवर्नमेंट को लंबे लंबे सपने दिखाते हैं, पब्लिक परेशान होती है। ये आंकड़ों का खेल नहीं समझ पा रहा हूँ सर।
ये देखिए, कुछ आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट होते हैं, बट जनरली तो सिचुएशन इंप्रूव हुई है। उसके लिए हमने इंडिपेंडेंट स्टडी भी करवाई है अर्नस्ट एंड यंग के माध्यम से, और एक स्टडी हमने डिफरेंट एजेंसी के माध्यम से। हर जगह ये पाया गया है कि विद्युत के सप्लाई में निश्चित तौर पे सुधार हुआ है, परंतु इस तरह के आइसोलेटेड इंसिडेंट भी हैं, जिसके लिए हमने संबंधित डिस्कॉम्स को, जहां भी हमें पता चलता है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कंपनी को हम कहते हैं कि अपनी व्यवस्था सुधारें।
Thank you, Honorable CMD Sir, Director of Finance, Director Technical, for your great insights and wisdom in steering the company to newer heights. Thanks to the media fraternity for taking time and coming all the way. Our association will continue. Thanks. We look forward to meeting you again and requesting you all to join for high tea. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.